Thinking of exiting your business or taking on a private equity partner to help you grow faster? BizNexus has you covered. Tap into our network of thousands of best-fit investors, acquirers, and proven M&A advisors, and we'll help you begin the relationship confidentially on your terms, your timeline. Learn more at biznexus.com.
Disclaimer from the always present legal team. Podcast conversations don't necessarily reflect the views of BizNexus Incorporated. Everything you hear is informational news and updates from around the industry. We're not recommending any investments. We're not offering any investment advice. Be sure to do your own homework.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we're going deep on business brokerage, but not just any business brokerage.
Yeah.
We're talking about companies between $2 and $50 million in valuation.
Yeah.
The lower middle market.
The sweet spot.
It is the sweet spot. And to guide us on this deep dive, we're going to be looking at some key insights from Rethinking Business Brokerage.
Great report.
It is. Really fascinating stuff in here. I'm betting if you're listening to this right now, you probably are running a business in this range, or maybe thinking about selling one.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're just fascinated by mergers and acquisitions.
A lot of folks are.
Lots of people are. So what do you say? Should we jump right in?
Let's dive in.
All right. So tell me, what's the biggest shift you're seeing in this market? What's really got everyone talking?
You know what I think the thing that has everyone really buzzing is that the lines are starting to blur.
Blur between.
So if you would think of as a traditional Main Street business broker and then like the high-flying investment bankers.
The big guys.
Yeah, the ones doing the mega deals.
Right.
And so they're kind of meeting in the middle.
So it's almost like the lower middle market is creating its own breed of advisor.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a great way to put it.
And what's driving that, do you think?
Well, there are a couple of things. One is there are just more businesses than ever that are reaching that $2 to $50 million valuation.
Oh, interesting.
So they're outgrowing what a mom and pop broker can really handle.
Right.
But they're not quite big enough
For Wall Street?
Yeah, to get the attention of Wall Street.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But it's got to be more than just the price tag, right?
Right.
I mean, the deals themselves are probably getting more complex, too.
Absolutely. More sophisticated financing structures, more types of buyers are getting interested in this space.
Really?
Yeah, so the whole thing is just getting more intricate.
I see why people are paying attention to this. So let's say someone is listening and thinking about selling their business or maybe even buying one. What's the one thing they absolutely need to understand about how things are changing?
Well, it's a different ballgame now. You need an advisor who can not only value your business accurately,
Right.
but who also knows how to structure a deal that's going to work for everybody involved.
So finding the right advisor is critical. Now, speaking of changes, the report really highlighted this whole impact of technology,
Yes,
especially when it comes to buyer outreach.
that's a big one.
Yeah, I was really intrigued by that. Can you unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Every business broker at some point gets asked the question, do you have a buyer for my business?
Oh, yeah. The $1 million question.
The $1 million question. And, historically, a broker's network was everything.
Right.
It was all about who they knew, the relationships they built.
Yeah, it's like that little black book, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But now technology is really shaking things up. And platforms like BizNexus are kind of changing the game when it comes to connecting buyers and sellers.
Okay, I got to ask. Is this like a dating app for businesses?
Not quite. But it is a way to really streamline the process.
Oh,
So essentially, BizNexus allows brokers to target buyers who not only are interested in a specific type of business,
okay.
but also, and this is key, they have the money, verified capital, ready to go.
That's got to save so much time.
Exactly.
No more tire kickers, no more people wasting your time.
Precisely. Less time wasted on unqualified leads, and you increase the likelihood of finding the perfect match.
It seems like this would be a game changer for everybody, right?
It's really-
I mean, for the brokers, for the business owners.
For sure.
It's a much more efficient and effective way to do things.
Yeah, it really streamlines everything. And for business owners looking to sell it can mean a much faster and smoother transaction overall.
Probably get a better price too, right?
You would think, yeah.
More competition, prices go up.
Exactly. So the idea is that you have multiple qualified buyers interested in the business.
Okay.
You can really get a competitive bidding environment. Right.
And that leads to a better outcome for the seller.
I'm following you. So we've got this rise of specialized advisors and this tech-driven shift in how we find buyers.
Right.
What else really jumped out at you from the report?
Well, they talked a lot about the growing importance of deal structuring and, and the after-tax considerations.
Oh, after-tax.
Especially in this lower middle market.
Yeah.
That's where it can get tricky.
That's where you really need some guidance.
You really do.
It's
not as simple as just saying, okay, here's the price.
Right.
Let's shake hands and walk away.
Done deal.
Yeah, done deal. The way a deal is structured has huge implications for both the buyer and the seller.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to taxes. Like, how much is Uncle Sam going to take?
Right. Okay, so break it down for me. What are we talking about here?
Well, in the past, most deals in the lower middle market were pretty straightforward asset sales.
Okay.
But now
we're seeing a lot more creativity. We're seeing things like seller financing.
Okay.
Earnouts.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
Private equity is getting involved.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more complex.
But I bet each one of those has its own tax implications.
Absolutely.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boys are right.
Okay, so give me an example. Let's say seller financing.
Okay.
What is that?
So that's where the seller agrees to actually finance part of the sale price. So they're kind of acting like a bank for the buyer.
There they are.
Yeah. It can be a good way to make a deal happen if there's a financing gap.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
But the tax implications can be tricky.
Oh, of course.
You have to be really careful.
Like what?
Well, for the seller, it can impact how the gain from the sale is recognized over time and taxed.
Okay.
And for the buyer,
yeah,
it can affect how they can deduct the interest payments.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you really need somebody who knows what they're doing.
You really do. And this is why we're seeing this growing need for M&A advisors who aren't just deal makers.
Right.
They're not just connecting the dots.
They're not just brokers.
They have to understand tax law, financial planning.
It's so much more than just closing the deal.
It is.
It's making sure everybody wins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've got to close the deal in a way that is smart.
Right.
And tax efficient for everyone involved.
That's the key.
That's the key. And I think that's what sets this new breed of lower middle market M&A advisors apart.
Okay.
They're not just brokers anymore. They're really strategic partners.
Yeah.
They're guiding their clients through every step of the way.
This is all so insightful. We've covered so much already.
I know, right?
We've talked about how the role of the M&A advisor is changing, the impact of technology on buyer outreach.
It's huge.
The growing importance of deal structuring and tax planning.
It's a lot.
It is. What's next? What else should we dive into?
Well, the report also goes into how all of these trends are really impacting the actual process of buying and selling a business in the lower middle market.
Oh, wow. So
from valuation to due diligence to even post-merger integration.
Wow. We're just getting started.
Yeah.
Okay. This is exciting.
It is. One thing that really struck me in the report was this idea that M&A advisors who are really succeeding in this market, they're not just facilitators anymore. They're becoming true strategic partners.
That's interesting. What does that look like in practice?
Well, it means they're going beyond just, connecting the buyer and seller and negotiating a price.
Right.
It's about understanding the seller's long-term goals.
Okay.
Helping them get their business ready for sale. Even assisting with, the post-acquisition integration.
So it's much more hands-on. It's the entire life cycle of the deal.
It is. And that's where I think having a team of experts really comes into play.
Yeah.
The report made a big point about this. Lower middle market M&A, it's a team sport now.
Oh, interesting.
You need specialists. You need people who are pros in valuation, deal structuring, tax planning, even operational matters sometimes.
It takes a village.
It really does. It's not just about the numbers. It's about understanding the business, the market, the people involved.
The human element.
Exactly. And that kind of leads to another key point they made.
Look.
I think we're going to see more and more specialization
within.
Within these M&A advisory teams.
Oh, like what? Give me an example.
So imagine a team where you've got one advisor who's just a whiz at valuation.
Good.
Another one who's really good at crafting those complex deal structures.
Right.
And then another one who's the tax guru. They know how to minimize the tax burden for both sides.
So it's like assembling like a team of all-stars.
It is.
Each one has their own superpower.
Exactly. And that allows for a much more sophisticated, comprehensive approach to these transactions.
I can see how that would be a huge advantage, especially if you're a business owner.
Especially if you've never been through this before.
Right. It can be really overwhelming.
Overwhelming is a good word for it.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of moving parts.
So much to think about.
Exactly. So having the right team in your corner can make all the difference.
It makes you feel more confident.
It does. But, it's not just about assembling that team.
Right.
It's also understanding the nuances of the lower middle market itself.
Okay, so what makes this market different? What should people be aware of?
Well, for one thing, the financing options can be pretty different.
Different
than what you see in those smaller, like Main Street deals.
Right.
Buyers in this market might use a combination of bank loans, private equity, seller financing. We talked about that.
Yeah, we did.
Even earnouts.
Burnouts.
Yeah.
I've heard that term.
It's kind of a hot topic these days.
What are those?
So basically, it's contingent payments that are based on the future performance of the business.
So the buyer's basically saying,
yeah,
I think your business is going to continue doing well.
Right.
So I'm willing to pay you more if it does.
Exactly. And that can be a good way to bridge the gap.
The valuation gap.
Yeah, between the buyer and seller.
Right. But they sound kind of risky.
They can be. It introduces an element of uncertainty for sure.
Sure.
Because you're making a bet, essentially.
On the future.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a lot of trust there.
A lot of trust. And that's why having an advisor who can really structure these earnout agreements,
right?
Make sure the terms are fair, the metrics are clearly defined. There's a way to resolve disputes if they come up.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's really important.
So these deals are definitely more creative.
They are.
More flexible than your traditional asset sale.
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes the lower middle market so dynamic and interesting.
Yeah.
It's a space where you really need to think strategically. Definitely not your grandfather's M&A market.
No, it is not.
That's for sure.
It has changed a lot.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening to this and they're thinking, okay, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
But where do I even begin? What's step one?
Well, I think the most important thing is recognizing that the lower middle market operates differently than that kind of like Main Street market.
Okay.
The stakes are higher. The deals are more complex.
Right.
And you need an advisor who gets it.
Who understands this landscape.
Who understands this landscape. Yeah.
So acknowledge you're in a different league now.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask questions.
That's good advice.
Talk to other business owners who have been through this. Get referrals for advisors who have experience.
Right.
Do your research.
Do your homework.
Yeah. The more prepared you are, the better the outcome is likely to be.
That's great advice. Knowledge is power.
It really is. And, it's never too early to start planning.
Planning? But what if you're not even thinking about selling for 5-10 years?
I get it. Most business owners are heads down running their companies.
Right.
But if you can start laying the groundwork now for a successful exit down the road.
Okay, what does that look like?
Well, one of the best things you can do is just focus on building a really solid business.
Okay.
Make it sustainable, make it profitable.
Right.
Buyers want to see a company with a strong track record of financial performance.
Makes sense.
Diversified customer base, solid management team in place.
So you're not just building a business that's valuable to you.
Right.
It's also attractive to...
It's just someone who might want to buy it someday.
To a potential buyer.
Exactly. So you want to pay attention to your revenue growth, your profit margins, customer retention.
Right.
Employee satisfaction. These are all signs
of a healthy business.
Of a healthy business. Yeah. And buyers are going to be looking at all of that.
It's like you're building an investment portfolio.
Yes.
You know you want it to be diversified.
Exactly.
Positioned for long-term growth.
I love that analogy because it's just like with an investment portfolio, you need to be checking in on it.
Right.
Making adjustments as needed.
So are there areas where you can improve efficiency?
Yes. Can you expand into new markets?
Right.
Are you investing in your team? Developing future leaders?
So it's all about continuous improvement.
It is. Always striving to be better.
And making sure that your business is
keeping up with the times.
Evolving with the market.
Exactly. And that kind of approach, it not only makes your business more successful,
right.
It's going to make it more attractive
to those potential buyers.
when the time comes to sell.
This has been incredible.
I know, we've covered so much.
So much good stuff.
But we're just scratching the surface of this report.
I know. I feel like we could talk for hours.
Me too.
There's just so much in here.
There really is.
What other nuggets of wisdom did you find in rethinking business brokerage?
You know, one of the things that really resonated with me was they talked a lot about the need to think holistically.
Okay.
About the transaction process.
What does that mean?
So it's not just about getting the highest price.
Okay.
It's about finding the right buyer.
Right.
Structuring a deal that works for both sides. Making sure there's a smooth transition.
So it's about finding the right fit, not just the highest bidder.
Yes, exactly. It's about...
like matchmaking.
It is. It's like finding a good home for your business.
Right, not just selling it off to
the highest bidder.
Yeah.
It's about thinking long-term, building relationships.
Right.
Understanding what everybody's motivations are.
So building trust.
Building trust, yeah. And again, that's where an experienced M&A advisor can really help.
Right, because they've seen it all before.
They have. They can help you navigate the process, identify the right buyers, structure a deal that meets your needs.
It's almost like finding a business therapist. You know, they can
that analogy.
Help you through the ups and downs.
Yes.
The emotional roller coaster.
The emotional roller coaster of selling your company.
Yeah.
It is that.
Yeah.
And just like with a therapist, it's so important to find someone you're comfortable with, someone you trust.
That you can really open up to.
Exactly. Someone who has your best interests at heart.
This has been so insightful.
Oh, good.
We've covered so much.
We have.
But before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more thing.
Okay.
The report talked about the importance of taxes.
Yes.
And I think a lot of business owners...
they don't think about it.
Overlook that.
Until it's too late.
Yeah, they're so focused on... the deal itself that they forget about the implications.
Right. And taxes can have a huge impact on how much money you actually walk away with at the end of the day. So you got to factor that
from the beginning.
From the beginning.
So it's not just about the price. It's how the deal is structured.
Exactly.
To minimize your tax liability.
You got it.
Okay. So this is where a tax advisor.
Essential. Absolutely. They can help you understand different deal structures, explore potential tax benefits, make sure you're not leaving money on the table.
It's like having a secret weapon.
It is.
Someone who knows all the ins and outs of the tax code.
And can use it to your advantage. It can make a huge difference.
So we've talked about finding the right buyer, structuring the deal right, minimizing your tax burden.
Important stuff.
What other key takeaways should business owners keep in mind?
I think one of the most important things is just to be patient.
Patient.
Don't rush the process.
Okay.
It takes time to find the right buyer.
Right.
Negotiate a deal that's fair to everyone. Make sure the transition goes smoothly.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. Don't let yourself get pressured into making a hasty decision.
So easy to do, though, right?
Yes, it is.
Especially when you're
excited about a deal.
Dollar signs in your eyes.
You got to stay focused on your long-term goals.
Yeah.
Make sure you're making the right decision for you and for your business.
And you know what? It's okay to walk away.
Yes. If it doesn't feel right.
If it's not the right fit.
Walk away. There are other buyers out there.
There are.
You don't have to settle.
Don't settle.
You deserve the best.
Know your worth.
Know your worth. And remember, this is a major life decision.
Yeah.
Both personally and professionally.
It is.
Take your time. Do your research. Get good advice. Make sure you're making a choice that you'll be happy with.
Years down the road.
Years down the road. Absolutely.
This has been amazing. We've learned so much about the lower middle market.
It's a fascinating space.
It is. But we've only scratched the surface of this report.
Yeah.
So before we go, I want to leave our listeners with some actionable advice.
Okay.
What are 3 things?
3 things. Okay.
They should do if they're considering a sale.
All right. Let's distill it down.
Perfect.
To 3 essential action items.
Okay, not ready.
Number 1, assemble your A-team.
The A-team.
Get those experienced advisors who can guide you through all the legal, financial, and tax stuff.
Don't go it alone.
Don't try to go it alone.
Okay, got it.
Having the right experts in your corner can make all the difference.
It's like building a championship team, right?
It is. You need the best players at every position.
To win the game. I love that. Okay, number 2.
Number 2, prepare your business for sale.
Okay, how do we do that?
This isn't something you do overnight. Get your financials in order, make sure your operations are running smoothly, and position your business for continued growth.
So make it shine.
Make it shine. Buyers are looking for companies that are well managed and poised for success.
Yeah. Okay, so put your best foot forward.
Exactly.
Got it. Number 3.
Number 3, be patient.
Patient.
Don't rush the process.
Okay.
Take your time. Find the right buyer. Negotiate a fair deal.
Yeah.
Make sure the transition is smooth.
Take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath. This is a marathon, not a sprint.
Words to live by.
Remember, you're in control.
Right.
You have the power to make the best decision
For yourself
and your company.
I love it. Assemble your A-team.
Yes.
Prepare your business and be patient.
3 powerful steps
To navigate this exciting world
I know.
of lower middle market M&A.
It is exciting.
It is. And remember, the landscape is constantly changing.
It is.
So stay informed.
Stay curious.
Keep learning.
Never stop learning.
Man, I am so glad we did this deep dive.
Me too.
We learned so much.
Yeah, the lower middle market is definitely...
It's a whole new world.
It's not business as usual anymore.
No, it's not.
But I think we gave our listeners a lot to think about.
I hope so.
From rethinking business brokerage.
It's a good report.
It really is. So much good stuff in there. And they're ready to take on this new landscape.
They are. I think knowledge is power.
Especially in M&A.
Oh, absolutely.
Things move so fast.
They do.
So let's recap those 3 key takeaways. No matter where you are in your business journey, these are important. Number 1, assemble your A-team.
The A-team.
Don't underestimate how complex these deals can get.
No, you really need to.
But you need people in your corner to guide you on everything.
Everything.
Valuation, deal structuring, legal tax.
It's a lot.
It is. Think of it like building a championship team.
Yes.
You need the best players in each position.
Absolutely. You can't win with a bunch of rookies.
Exactly. All right, takeaway number 2.
All right, number 2.
Prepare your business for sale.
This is so important.
This is not something you can do overnight.
Takes time.
You got to get your financials in order.
Make sure your operations are running smoothly.
Like a well-oiled machine.
Exactly. And you want to build a company that's attractive to buyers.
Make it shine.
Make it shine.
Right.
It's like getting your house ready to sell.
Right.
You got to stage it.
Stage it.
And make it look good.
Curb appeal.
Curb appeal.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. And finally.
The last one.
Takeaway number 3.
Number 3.
Be patient.
Patience is key.
Don't rush the process.
No.
Take your time to find the right buyer. Negotiate a good deal.
Yeah.
Make sure the transition is smooth.
Breathe.
This is a marathon, not a sprint.
That's it.
Remember, you're in control.
You are.
You have the power to make the best decision.
The best decision for you.
For yourself and for your company.
That's right.
I love it. Assemble your A-team, prepare your business, and be patient. 3 powerful steps.
They are.
To navigate this world of lower middle market M&A.
It's a wild world out there.
It is, but it's exciting.
It is exciting.
And the landscape is always changing.
Always.
So stay informed, stay curious, and never stop learning.
Words to live by.
Well said. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into rethinking business brokerage.
My pleasure.
We'll catch you next time for another fascinating exploration of the business world.
Sounds good.
Until then, keep diving deep.
Acquiring a business? BizNexus simplifies it. Access thousands of updated opportunities in our DIY marketplace or supercharge team sourcing with OmniSource, your all-in-one platform for on-market, off-market, and coming-soon deals. Scale smarter today. Learn more or book a demo at www.biznexus.com.